Welcome to the show, The Antithesis, aka Education Made Visible. Come with me. Shh, class is in session. Segment that we call Peeling the Onion. Take a look.
So Lake Crest Elementary School teacher Dana Frankel bitched to her sixth graders about her crap salary shortly after receiving a paycheck on Monday. How am I supposed to pay for anything on this kind of income? Asked Frankel midway through a math lesson. And now the brake pads of my Nissan need replacing. Gee, guess I'll just have to hope for the best next time I hit a red light. Frankel then got the disrupted lesson back on track by using her dwindling 401k plan as an example of negative numbers.
Beautiful.
So what do you all think about that? I mean, can you relate to bitching about a paycheck?
Reality. Well, I don't know that I can say I don't even know if I can say that word.
Yeah, you can.
But
yeah, you can.
Yeah, but there is truth to it. I can easily say a large percentage, I don't want to give a number, but a large percentage of our teachers feel that way. But what kills me is, didn't they go into the profession knowing how much they would make? But that is a huge complaint. And yes, I can see that.
So you think, but I think it's a valid complaint.
Yeah, but to your sixth graders?
No.
Seriously?
Right.
That's like crying in front of the kids. You can cry, just don't do it in front of the kids. Talking about your paycheck in front of your they're probably looking like, lady, I just want to go to the playground.
Yeah,
like,
well, you know, I mean, and of course this is satire, so it's not really real. But I do remember when I was in high school.
But it comes from reality.
There was a teacher that kept saying to us that, oh, you don't have to learn because I'm going to get paid regardless.
Okay, all
Oh,
right.
let me have at that teacher. Are you
and
kidding?
that's not satire, and that happened.
We'll be back with Hot Topics.
Today is Saturday.
60 minutes of physical activity a day and eating well can help get your child healthy. Get ideas. Get involved. Get going at letsmove.gov. That's letsmove.gov.
Welcome back to the show. We have our Hot Topics coming up. There are some stories that are in the news about education that we just thought were either hilarious or ridiculous or interesting that we wanted to talk about, essentially. And there is this one story that we like to talk about that was written by Ron Clark. He's an award-winning teacher in Atlanta, and he's talking about what teachers really want to tell parents. Essentially, he's saying that he would like for parents to trust the teachers instead of always asking the kid what they think. So, for example, if I am a parent and I go in to talk to the teacher about my kid, about Rima, and the teacher says Rima is not doing her work, she's not paying attention, and then I look at Rima and I say, is that true, Rima? Ron Clark says, why are you asking Rima? I just told you it's true. Trust me.
But you know what? We're the only culture who doesn't value teachers in education. I mean, you know, you go to any other country, any other continent, and teachers are placed on pedestals where you better not ask twice. I mean, if that's what your teacher said, then, you know, I know, for example, my husband is from the Caribbean, and, you know, his parents were teachers, and he's telling me, you know, you better not get a phone call home, because if the teacher's telling me that you're acting crazy, you know, it's going to be consequences.
And who do we put in the pedestal in our culture? The children.
Yeah, right, or other people who are not, or other people who are outside of the frame of education. Which I'm not saying that sports, you know, athletes and other people in the media are not important, but the people who are educating your kids, who you send them to school, entrusted every day, we're questioning them. So it's no surprise that teachers feel like, you know, I don't get paid for this.
I do understand that point. However, I think that when I was growing up, that's the way it was. If a phone call came to my mom about anything that happened in school, it wasn't a question of what happened, Sharon. It was just like, this is what happened, and this is what's going to happen.
Exactly.
But the culture, I think, has changed. And you have all these things now where you have parents being put in jail for spanking their children because of, now with child abuse becoming more prominent,
Right.
even like the way that some parents choose to discipline their children is also coming into question.
Right.
But my question is, why not ask the child? Why not?
Because I
That's a
think,
good question.
well,
Yeah.
because I think sometimes, so I see both, right? I see it's a dichotomous thing here where you want to make sure that the teachers are being honest and they're giving your child a fair shot. But sometimes kids, we know that they extrapolate. We know they exaggerate. So,
But why not? If in a court of law, the two sides are able to tell their stories. So why not? I don't see anything wrong with that.
Yeah,
I don't see anything wrong with, okay, tell me your side of the story. I really don't see anything
And
wrong with that.
I mean, I think that I think we're sort of like moving from one end of the spectrum to the other end of the spectrum,
Right.
where teachers they weren't feeling like they were getting the respect that they need. And so now we have these kinds of stories coming out where teachers are going all the way to the other end where just take my word for it. I'm telling you the truth, just take my, that's the way it sort of feels to me because one of the things that Ron Clark says in this story is that we are educators, we're not nannies. And so you should treat us as professionals.
but we have to also act professional too.
Yeah.
Don't come, and no offense to anyone who works at any of the discount supermarkets, but don't go to work like you're going to shop for the Saturday or you're going to work in your garden. We need
then
to
the other part of this
portray
story,
looking professional.
The other part of this story is that there are teachers and administrators who apparently are very good. They're winning awards, but they're leaving the industry because they say they don't want to deal with the parents.
I don't think that that's just the other reason why they're leaving. I think there's a few
and I wonder what
reasons.
percentage of educators are leaving because of parents. I've heard educators complain that parents can be really challenging, and maybe there needs to be more professional development on how to work together. I mean, I think it's the approach more than anything else that we're all in this together to help the child.
I think those who leave because of lack of preparation, because they were thrown into the profession or they went into the profession for the wrong reasons. I truly believe if they went in with the passion to teach, I don't think it's the parents at all. It's not the children at all.
Now, here's another story that's interesting that goes along with that one because on the one hand, Ron Clark is saying, teachers should be respected and should be trusted and whatever they say should be it. But there's another story that comes to us where a teacher uses a dog collar on students to discipline them.
What was the context? Were they doing a lesson on... What was the context? I mean, she just straight up put a collar on someone, and like a dunce collar, or because I have a dog, and sometimes if I don't want Jazz to touch her paws, I put the collar on her. Is it like to sit straight? What was it, punitively?
Do you remember this story?
I thought in the story the students complied with it. Not that
exactly
is an excuse. That doesn't justify her doing that.
Right. I think some of the students were like, yeah, she said she was going to do it. We kind of laughed it off, but then she actually really did it.
Well, so in this case, she was using it as a punitive measure, and so then.
And so how does punishment work if it's humiliation?
Well, I don't. Okay, so that kind of goes to the caveat: is humiliation a bad thing?
I mean, shame is not a bad thing necessarily.
It's not?
I don't.
No, to
I
have
don't
a little
think so.
shame. To feel ashamed. To feel ashamed. If you did something wrong, if you hurt somebody, I think it's healthy to feel ashamed that you did that.
No, I'm saying I think sometimes if you act crazy, I'm going to make an example out of you. So no, I'm serious. And you know what? I bet you won't act crazy anymore. And that's old school. That's right. We're just too sensitive around here. We're too
speaking of that.
We can't do that anymore, Nicole. We cannot do that anymore. In
I
public
came out
schools.
just fine. I came out just fine.
Well, let's ask your husband. But
No, you did. It's where it's coming from.
But speaking of old school, here's another story. A parent whose daughter posted some things on Facebook. Remember that story?
The Rashonda Tate Billingsley.
No, the other one, where the father posted, the daughter posted some information about her father that was very hurtful on Facebook. The father responded by
Reading the letter.
By reading the letter on Facebook, posting that, and posting her punishment on Facebook, and then taking her computer and shooting 8 rounds
Yeah,
laptop.
that's a little
Into
excessive.
the laptop.
That's a little
Yes.
excessive.
So what about the humiliation? Or I mean, you know,
So I think that is taking it too far. I think, you know, he probably could have had a conversation with his daughter. I understand that. I think the daughter had done this before.
Yeah.
And so he was basically saying, you know, because you
was
did
the last
this,
straw.
this is the last straw. And so I think that, and I think also because it just took it too far. I mean, shooting the...
And
well,
what is he
the lap-
teaching by that? What is he teaching his child? It is okay to behave that way. To
Or
shoot-
destroy
Yeah.
property, even though he bought it.
But I think what's positive about that, and what is teaching other parents, is that it's okay to, you know, be concrete and have a hard line, you know, and not
Give
to
in.
That is too hard.
Give in.
That's an extreme.
Yes.
And most parents will. I would never do that. But to you know to stand firm, you know, when you make a decision and do
You
what
can
you need to do.
take the laptop away.
And-
You don't have to shoot the laptop.
and
Just making a point.
and
I would never do
we
that.
can continue this forever, but we must stop. Good night.